Listen up. They are getting prepared to unleash the great deception. Listen to this.
James Goldstein, who he is to the NBA is who Michelle Lemmy is to the hip-hop industry.
As we get introduced to more and more extraterrestrials, we will be introduced to ones that at first are more like us, so we don't freak out.
Yeah, you cannot pay me enough to tell me that there wasn't some type of magic going on in Hollywood, right?
I thought this was a cool video of the energy coming from cathedrals.
This is why you always trust your animal's instincts.
Do you see something? All right, we gotta go.
It's not built for comfort. It's not built for comfort, pal.
Imagine you go into a business and their AI surveillance camera thinks it recognizes you as a trespasser.
That's what we went off right there. Look at that big ass tree stump in that bowl. But I'm gonna get this shit. That's a tree stump.
Put anyone in jail if you know what to do?
How? You set them up.
You create the situation to where they have no choice but to act on their impulse.
Welcome back to the Wizard's Fish. So the channel's still being suppressed quite a bit. It seems like the hype button's non-existent at this point. People are still being unsubscribed. Views and impressions are way down despite having far above average numbers and watch time. So yeah, like it's nuts. But I've been looking into things, and potentially if I lighten up a bit, it could help get things going again. So I'm going to censor myself a little bit for the next few days or so, maybe week. If you want to see the regular stuff, head over to the backup channel at Wizard's Fishbowl. I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, like the information's not good if it's not getting out to people. So I'm trying whatever I can do to get things going again, because I do not want to have this channel taken down. So yeah, just keep that in mind for the next little bit. But we're going to jump into things as usual. So viewer discretion is advised, and everything that you see and hear is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get into it.
So Meta just fired 1,100 people who exposed what they were doing with the Ray-Ban footage on 6 days' notice. Quick context, if you purchased Meta's smart glasses, the footage you recorded, everything you saw around you got sent to a contractor in Kenya called Sama. 1,100 workers doing 10-hour shifts, sitting there labeling what was on your camera so Meta's AI models could get better. Back in February, Swedish journalists started investigating this matter, and the workers told them what they were actually watching.
I can only imagine what they were seeing.
People having intimacy, people in bathrooms, naked, kids, credit card numbers, you name it. And last month, Meta cut their entire contract. This week, the Kenyan company Sama just announced that they're firing all 1,100 of those people. Some of them said that they'd already been forced to sit on their desks doing nothing for weeks while security tightened around them after the reports started coming out. Meta says that Sama didn't meet our standards, and Sama says they consistently met all standards.
Companies say whatever they want. They got enough money, they can get away with it.
Read between the two, and the truth is very simple. The workers who told the public what was actually happening all lost their job and were fired. Now there's a class action lawsuit in California against Meta, and the UK's data regulator also opened an investigation. Every single part of this story is true, and nobody at Meta has answered any of this yet. The lawsuit is moving, 2 regulators are investigating, 1,100 people lost their jobs, and I'll be tracking all of this. Follow me if you want to learn more, because Big Tech is hoping you forget by next week.
Listen up. They are getting prepared to unleash the great deception. Listen to this.
But there were a large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them a concern that they had. And this particular man, and I'll not name him, and then we may end up doing some teachings with him or having an event at his church. He has a great church. But he said, Perry, what they're about to release, from what we're hearing, there's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft that Some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released. And some of it has to do with crafts that have been discovered that are not allegedly a part of our planet, and the materials they're made of are not a part of our planet. Very strange reptilian-looking creatures.
Did you hear that? They are telling pastors to get their congregations ready for what they are about to hear. Because one day, very soon, a lot of people are going to disappear, and they're going to have to explain it away with aliens. Aliens do not exist. They are demonic beings. I believe it was President Reagan that said that there would have to be an alien invasion to make everyone come together. And that is what they are going to do to make everybody come together for a one world government. Because if you make people afraid, they will comply.
James Goldstein. Who we is to the NBA is who Michelle Lemmy is to the hip-hop industry. Because one thing you got to understand about our world is basically ran by corporations. And every organization, whether if it's corporate, political, or cultural, is being ran by a hidden force. Because they're going to show you the owners and the CEOs, but the hidden force is the unseen hand. The unseen hand is the covenant, the contract that they made with dark covenants when you're talking about draconian magic. So the inception of James Goldstein bloodline comes from the Canaanite bloodline. So that means that he's a hybrid Albion Ashkenazi. And that bloodline in itself is interconnected to Vladimir the Impaler, who is the real Count Dracula. So when you get to the inception of the Goldstein, when you look at the etymological roots, it comes from the Yiddish language. And Yiddish culture comes from Zionist culture. So that's how you know that they're basically the epitome of the synagogues of Satan. So that means that you got dark forces, hidden hands that runs the great majority of these corporations and these organizations. What people got to understand is that every industry is ran by witches and warlocks. I'm going to say it again. Every industry is ran by witches and warlocks, because when you understand the occult, when you understand etymology and bloodline, you will understand the inception of these dark forces. Right? Because when you understand names like Silverstein, Goldstein, and Birdstein, those are all Yiddish language. And that Yiddish language is interconnected to the Order of the Dragon, which is a secret society. The Order of the Dragon is a secret society that practices draconian magic, that basically interfaces with corporations, that is controlled by dark forces. Now, one thing that I found interesting about James Goldstein is that he has a club called Sky Space. It's a subterranean club in the caverns of LA. Now, when you go to the 1930s, it speaks of a newspaper talking about how there's a subterranean kingdom that is ran by lizard people, right? So there's a correlation to that. Now, this is also in alignment with the jinn when you're talking about the Holy Quran, because in the Holy Quran, it speaks of jinn being lizard people. So there is a dark force, or, draconian entities on the planet that control the great majority of these corporations. I'm going to show you this video that basically extrapolates that knowledge.
Jinn races, many of them look like lizards, literally. And as a result, if their frequency enters into people and occupies that person, they create that barrier.
If y'all stumble upon mushrooms like these, do not eat them. Because these mushrooms aren't like other hallucinogenic mushrooms. They're called Lameoa ashaiska, and they make you see little people. Now you're probably thinking, well, what's the difference between them and other hallucinogenic mushrooms? Well, these, you can eat them and be completely fine, everything fine, and just see hundreds of tiny little people walking around on your coffee table. There's no other side effect to them, just...
That makes me think that it's some sort of spiritual thing then.
Seeing tiny people. Many people reported seeing tiny people swimming around in their soups, their cereals, and they're dressed in colorful clothing and look like tiny elves. The craziest part about this is, unlike psychedelic mushrooms, they're not sure why you see these tiny people. And this effect can last up to 24 hours. So you can feel completely fine, but these tiny people will be walking around your house, swimming in your food, doing tiny people shit.
I wonder what happens if you step on them. Do they just disappear, or does something happen?
I've even heard some people say that this just opens a veil and we can see a form of people that we can't usually see in our reality.
Yeah, you cannot pay me enough to tell me that there wasn't some type of magic going on in Hollywood, right? With these so-called celebrity or celebrated entities, because you don't know who you was giving your power and magic to. You guys do know that there are patents out on the television saying that it is a mind control device, right? That it absolutely influences your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors by repetition, imagery.
It's a dude.
And whatever crap they're actually putting on there. Again, it's pay attention. Because why is it all of a sudden we take our attention and energy away from these people and they start looking like this, right? Why? What's going on? And then not only that, but something's off with, you know what I'm saying? Something's completely off. Look at the shoulders, y'all. Why do I feel like I'm looking at a handsome boy?
'Cause you are. Man, I've been trying to tell people about this for like 10 years and I get called crazy. And the only thing that people respond to everything I say is, oh, you know, people have different bodies. Like, yeah, I know that. I've been studying it for a long time, but like I can point out dozens and dozens of differences between the two. And the only excuse I ever get is people have different bodies. Like, it's not uncommon for some people to have a trait or two, maybe 3 of the opposite, depending on your ethnicity and whatnot. But yeah, the fact that these people have all the things, it's not normal.
And look at this, Margot Robbie, the girl from Wolf of Wall Street. Y'all remember that? Bro, she looks like Kill Bill Uma Thurman. What is going on? And you know, I'm not surprised that
they botch their faces too, in my opinion, is because when they're young and as they start to age, it gets much easier to identify who they really are. So I think that's why they botch their faces with plastic surgery, is because the real them starts to show. So that's the only way that they can hide it.
Sharon Osbourne, Sharon Osbourne looks like this. And look at the mother. I'm not surprised, because it's like, what were you guys doing? You guys were open, admittedly worshiping.
Got a man forehead.
Satan. Are y'all seeing it yet?
Square jaw, big neck, Adam's apple.
Look at the eyes, bro. Look at the slit. Look at that, bro. Who are y'all giving y'all energy to? Look at the slit. Y'all talking about the veil is thin and the veil is thin and the veil is gone. This is the veil being gone. All these celebrities losing their power is showing you guys it's over with. Bro, we've even made videos that the so-called people who actually run this world have been, you know, for a long time. You know what I'm saying? It has been inoperable for a very long time. So are we all just waiting on ourselves to get up and walk out of the game? Like, cause nobody's watching us? Are we all just waiting ourselves? Let me know down in the comments below, man. The shift is here. We're in the midst of it. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Right, here's what to do if you come across one of these.
So this is one of them. And then here's the other one. I was like, oh, is it money? I was like,
yeah, those are very likely spell jars. More importantly, hex jars. Hex jars, curse jars, they're not nice. And whatever's in it is not nice, believe me. So don't ever open those. Even if you're covered by the blood of Jesus, prevention's better than cure. I just wouldn't unleash whatever's been stashed in there. I've actually got a little bit of a creepy story regarding spell jars. I used to put my spell jars at the back of my garden. And I had a hole in the back of the garden where I used to stuff them down and cover them over. And basically one day I had a couple of mates over and we were at the back of the garden. One of my friends obviously wasn't a witch and she just kept saying how she felt so sick. All of a sudden she just started feeling dizzy. She just felt horrible. Took her in the kitchen. She felt absolutely fine. Came back out, I started feeling sick and dizzy again. And I said, what's going on here? We went back inside. She was absolutely fine. She went, I don't know what it is. Every time I go in the garden, I just feel sick. Well, it wasn't until later on that I realised, oh yeah, we were right by my spell jars. But I didn't think it would affect anyone, to be honest. I didn't think it was that strong. I think actually that was what was affecting her. Definitely. If you come across these, the best thing to do is rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Cancel whatever spell, hex or curse has been done on a person and get rid of it. Definitely don't have any fear with it, because obviously that's what witchcraft thrives. If you're moving into a house or you're going somewhere, maybe in the woods, there's a lot of this stuff in the woods. If you come across it, don't touch it. And if you do have to get rid of it, put it in a bag and just sling it, get rid, rebuke it. If it's an enclosed space like a new house, I definitely recommend going around and anointing the home in case anything is hanging around. Yeah, when it comes to hex jars, there's quite a lot of these, especially like if you go into certain woodlands, there are pictures of people that people have done spells on. People are covering these things up everywhere and then they're being uncovered later and then they're opening them. You need to know your authority in Jesus as well. Whatever is going on with that jar or whatever spell or hex or wherever you've gone, The power of Jesus will overpower that. It will wipe it clean. And honestly, this is just a me thing. If I see a spell being done on somebody now, especially like on Etsy or anything like that, I just literally go over there and pray it and destroy it. Like, you ain't touching nobody. If you're going into very heavy witchcraft areas, I often talk about the witch band, the squeezing of the head, that feeling like you got elastic band around your head. Rebuke it, pray against the spirit of witchcraft. There's a lot of hurt people out there. There's a lot of people that have been really, really hurt. So there's a lot of spell jars, believe me. If you come across it, bind it up, rebuke it, throw it out. And if you're someone that's still making spell jars, can I just give you a recommendation to stop? Because honestly, it comes back on you every single time. And this is from somebody who was a witch for 14 years. I had a lot of these jars.
I thought this was a cool video of the energy coming from cathedrals.
That's kind of cool.
So all the cathedrals, sacred buildings, they were all built on ley lines. And it's interesting because the kingdoms would make dowsing illegal.
Everything's built on, like, everything major is built on ley lines. All major cities and like the downtown areas are all intersecting ley lines.
For you to find the energy ley lines. Now look at that. That is the manipulation of the ether right there. That's what these buildings would do. So they would heal the people because they are tuned into the Earth's grid. And people can look into the Bovis scale. It was a dowsing scale where they would look up sacred buildings and they would look up the energy of those sacred buildings. And the higher the scale, the more the sacred energy. But I just wanted to share this because I thought it's a really cool example of the energy that we cannot see and is only picked up at selected times.
Lake Mead going away. You heard the rumors. I'm going to show you. I'm here right now and it's bad. Okay guys, if you can see that island right there that's going over to the marina, 2 weeks ago, that was not there. That was not there at all.
Lake Mead's been drying up for the last few years really bad. I've been seeing the odd video on it. And yeah, it's gotten bad. They've been finding a lot of people and stuff.
That island right there. 2 weeks ago, that was underwater. Folks, I was here last week. When I came back, the water went down that I could notice it. Now I'm going to show you something else. Do you see the white line there on the mountain? That's where the water used to be. That's where the water used to be. Now I'm even going to show you more. So stay tuned. Folks, that is the old boat ramp. That's the old boat ramp. It can't even be used anymore. The water used to come all the way up to where that red truck is, and people used to dock their boats right there. Okay? They can't even use that anymore. They had to put the ramp way over there. So that's where we're at. And the water, right here, this is the old lounge. The water used to be right here. Right here, folks. So is Lake Mead going away? Yes. Yes, it is. And our government's doing absolutely nothing about it.
This is why you always trust your animal's instincts.
Do you see something? All right, we gotta go.
A girl named Carwis was riding her horse Cattle down a trail with her dog Pero when she noticed her horse began acting strange, staring at something in the distance.
What was that? Did you hear that? What do you see? Do you see something? All right, we gotta go. Come on.
She hears something in the woods as her horse suddenly stops and stares at the direction of the sounds. Feeling danger, she hops back on and hurries when she begins to hear movement around her.
What was that? Did you hear that? Yeah, you heard that too? Do you see it? It sounded like somebody screaming. Okay.
Yeah, I'd be getting out of there.
On her way out, her dog Pero goes missing.
Where's Pero? Pero? Oh no.
Oh, you better
Pero!
go back for the dog.
Come here, boy. Where'd you go? Oh no. Pero! Oh no.
She does manage to find Pero and continues heading along the trail before nightfall.
Sweet.
Along the ride, Cattle's ears remain perked up, alert, like if they're still being followed.
Cadillac's been acting weird and keeping his ears really perked up and forward this whole ride, so I wonder if he's been listening to something that I haven't been able to hear. But there's no telling. We're just trying to get home at this point.
After some time, the noises finally stopped, indicating that whatever was following them finally stopped.
Well, whatever it was, I think we got away from it finally. I haven't been hearing any weird noises anymore.
given she heard a person screaming and her horse kept acting very strange, staring into the distance. Viewers believe whatever was following her might not be an animal, but something else.
What do you think was going to happen? People are not smart at all.
Hey everybody, how you doing? See this down here? So this is 62 square miles, okay? So this is the data center that's planned in Box Elder County, Utah.
Damn.
62 square miles. That's not where it's going. It's just showing you the scale, okay? So I looked this up. Guess how many people can fit in an area 62 square miles in a condensed area? 250,000 people. That's how big this Mr. Wonderful data center is going to be. But doesn't it just make your heart warm to think that your voice really does matter? Like that you have elected representatives, and if you get hundreds and hundreds of people that come to an event like you're about to see with Box Elder County, that they would actually take into consideration your voice. Oh no, the county commissioners of Box Elder County are going to look at hundreds of people, hundreds of residents of that county in the face and say, for hell's sakes, grow up!
For hell's sakes, grow up!
And then when they get booed because the plan they thought they could just sneak past the county didn't get past the residents of Box Elder, they just pass a vote that they leave the meeting. Remember, they're supposed to represent these people, and they just leave the meeting.
It's like anybody in charge of anything's already been bought and paid for.
And remember, the governor of Utah is about to put water restrictions on the entire state of Utah because we're out of water.
All's quiet now at the Box Elder County Fairgrounds, but this was a raucous room Monday afternoon filled with frustrated protesters who tried to shout down a multi-millionaire-backed hyperscale data center. Consultants attempted to discuss the interlocal agreement that's been negotiated between MITA and the county.
No residential development. Any data center cooling must be a closed-loop system, obviously addressing the water use concerns.
Attorney Adam Long says other promises included a design review committee, noise limits, and millions in tax revenue, and they've asked for those commitments on paper. But nearly every comment in the room detailing the 40,000-acre Stratus project was met with a torrent of boos and chants.
It will generate jobs and economic investment in infrastructure.
Until the county commission reached its breaking point.
For hell's sakes, grow up!
They exited to a separate room and carried on from a virtual call.
Our vote today is not a vote for or against a data center. Our vote is about personal property rights.
Where the commissioners explained that this land is private and unzoned, saying it leaves them with little control as to what happens on it. And ultimately, that led them to a vote.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passed.
They unanimously gave consent to MITA to move forward and approved of their interlocal agreement. A spokesman for O'Leary Digital, Casey Hill, says a capital-raising effort will begin for the billion-dollar project over the next 60 days.
The first phase will start in the next few months.
But it will move on without any environmental impact studies done yet and a lot of remaining concerns.
And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, so we'll be spending a lot of time with the community.
When I asked why they hadn't done so already,
Spending time with the community, trying to indoctrinate them into going along with it.
Why not have some of those town halls before these votes came? Why not try to allay some of those fears and frustrations we saw out in the room?
Hill described it as an unfortunate part of the process.
We were under the understanding that that was being communicated to them, and it wasn't. So that was, just a part of the process that certainly could have been improved upon.
This is
It probably has nothing to do with the large amount of money they probably gave him.
not the last you'll see of the back and forth. There's currently a water right change application being put in by a private landowner in the Hansel Valley area for the use of the data center. It is in its protest period, and it's seen more than 1,700 protests and letters of concern. That protest period ends May 5th. In Box Elder County, I'm Jeremy Toms.
And this is why I'm never voting ever again on a federal, state, or local level. It's all a scam.
I've never voted ever.
Good, I got a call that there was a big old meaty fudge dragon I needed to come unclog.
Be a little bit more professional, please.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Who are
So,
you with?
I'm with OBS Productions, and I got a call from corporate saying that there was a big old girthy fudge trout. Yes.
Is there a clogged toilet?
Yes, ma'am.
That would be the appropriate terminology.
All right.
Not meaty, chocolate, fudgy things.
I mean,
I understand you want to have fun with your job. That's great.
yeah, it was my profession. I'm trying to make light of it.
Right. I don't appreciate it.
All right. Jeez.
Great.
Sorry. So, is there a big meaty fudge dragon somewhere?
I'm going to ask you to stay right there and stop saying those words.
What, the meaty or the fudge?
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
Hi, I got a call from corporate saying that one of the bathrooms was very much on the fritz.
We don't have a corporate office that would call you.
I'm telling you what I got. Look.
I'm the assistant general manager of the property. Yeah, that's a picture of Epstein.
I've never been to jail. Never. This is what my tax dollars are paying for? It's not built for comfort.
What did he do?
Imagine you go into a business and their AI surveillance camera thinks it recognizes you as a trespasser.
That's what we went off right there. Yeah, and this is one of those things, you guys have this fancy software that does all this stuff.
So that business handcuffs you and calls the cops.
So it's like...
Officer, what's your name?
1 second, man. How goes it?
What's up, buddy?
You show them your real ID, but they don't believe it. Instead, they believe the AI.
Facial recognition system, and it came up
100%. Okay.
100% match.
So either he presented a fake identification the first time, or he's presenting it now.
Jason consistently denied that he was anyone other than himself, other than the person he produced evidence to support that he was.
They are strikingly similar and weird enough. Their fancy AI technology that reads faces. No, it says it's a 100% match. My feeble human brain looking at two different driver's licenses.
Can you look at the signatures?
Signatures are different because they're different names.
So what is the law on this? There was no arrest warrant, clearly, for this individual, Jason Killinger, or even the suspect they thought he was. So this is a warrantless arrest. Probable cause is required for warrantless arrest.
Nothing in there? By myself? Yep, you're literally for like 2 to 3 minutes just for
Can't you wait till they implement this on a mass scale?
review the paperwork.
Officer Jaeger deliberately chose not to examine information with which he was presented that proved that Jason Killinger was actually Jason Killinger and not a different person.
Huh? I know. She's got to review the paperwork.
As far as I know, they have thus far failed to hold themselves accountable in any way, not surprisingly. But a lawsuit has been filed. It's still pending.
She's going to snap a picture. While she's doing that, I'm going to get a picture too. Just look up at the camera there.
These actions had the real-world consequences of incarcerating and prosecuting a completely innocent man.
Look at that big ass tree stump in that bowl. Hold on. I'm finna get this shit. That's a tree stump. It's a big ass tree stump they cut down that they like to worship.
If I remember correctly, this is in Idaho.
Big ass tree stump, y'all. Guess who did that, y'all? You'd be surprised if I say who. Hold on. We finna get a good view of this shit.
Probably a certain fraternity of men.
In a dome. Yeah, in a dome.
Y'all check this out. Listen.
Where are you from?
India.
India?
Yes.
What, you too?
Yeah.
How long have you been walking? All day?
All day. All day.
Did you fly into Mexico and then walk the rest?
Walk.
But where did you fly into?
What?
Where did you fly into? What city?
No, only walking. Walking.
How do you walk from India?
Yes. Panama.
Are you from India too?
Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistan. And Pakistan?
Yeah. Pakistan.
Pakistan?
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Okay. And how did you guys fly into Mexico? And then walk in the rest of the way? Walk? How did you get from Pakistan over to here? You're from Pakistan too?
India.
Oh, India?
India, Punjab.
India?
Punjab.
India. Okay. Yeah, we ran into some of your friends over there.
Police station, how far?
Yeah, this way.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
It is. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
That entire group just claimed to have walked to the United States from India. How is that possible?
I don't think I'm fairly certain the world is much different than they're telling us. For entertainment.
Let me know
only.
what you think in the comments. If you come back later, I'm going to do a deep dive on this and see what we can find.
So the ultra-terrestrials, I'll just tell you.
Listen to what Amy Eskridge says about the ultra-terrestrial species of alien. How they're actually us, but from the future. Then, after that video, I show you a video from TikTok of a girl who claims to be in the same lineage as the ultra-terrestrial aliens. Her looks and how similar she is to this species is uncanny. Take a look. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. It's mind-blowing.
They're us from the future. They're from here. They are you. They are me. They're from here, from the future. Have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s? Do you know what that is? P-47 is present plus 47,000 years. P-52 is present plus 52,000 years. And basically there's a calamity, right? So there's like a apocalypse scenario in the near future. It wipes out most of like everything, man. And there's the ones that go underground and survive, right? And then there's the ones that somehow stay on the surface and miraculously don't die.
More information has come out about the P-52s, which are supposedly future human beings. First and foremost, more detailed images have come out, which I believe really shows how much I don't look like P-52. But let's get into some of the physical attributes of P-52. Reflective eyes in darker environments, which I do not have, based on the fact that I am a human being. Abnormally tall. Clearly, I am very normal height. Unusually large hands. Abnormally long wingspan. That is normal. Everyone can do that. Abnormally long legs. I don't know about you, but those legs look pretty normal length to me. P-52 has abilities such as telepathy and telekinesis, which I clearly cannot do, as I am a human being.
Holy Adam's apple.
Okay, I can. They also have a high IQ, which I guess explains the 5 head. I obviously have a very normal sized forehead and a very average IQ. Anyway, guys, as I always say, bye!
Bob Lazar's like, I think that's exactly the craft that we were working on. There was this guy that had this UFO footage. Logan Paul offered to buy it for a lot of money. The guy's like, no way. Logan Paul's like, well, can I see it? Logan Paul secretly records it. He just released it on Jesse Michaels' podcast because Logan Paul, just like me, saw the S4 documentary. Bob Lazar is describing this UFO. He goes out to the desert because he's like, I know when the UFO is going to fly. I saw the list of like the flight dates, and every time it was the disc, but it was at night, and like when it turns on, it glows orange. And they showed it on the S4 of like what Bob Lazar saw. So they recreated it. Logan Paul saw that. That's exactly the video I recorded.
No way.
And this UFO footage was apparently filmed in the Nevada desert outside of Area 51. Out of this craft, they took a device that would create the anti-gravity effect. And Bob Lazar's under the impression, he's like, everyone's talking about anti-gravity. He's like, I think it's a completely different force that no one has ever discovered or talked about.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Anybody coming down 64, don't. I was driving my trailer, and I was coming down 64 headed into Illinois. I saw a car hit that, and I'm like, what the hell? And I had to go around here, and I got my trailer behind me, and I barely missed that, bro. That's all the way down to the bottom.
Dude, if you were on a motorcycle and hit that at high speed, you'd be done.
I'm getting out of here before I fall through there.
Is it really too much to ask for them to kindly repair the road that we were already taxed to fix? You know, so I'm not causing damage to the car that I'm taxed annually to drive, which I purchased with the income that they already taxed, which sits in the driveway of my house, which is also highly taxed.
Put anyone in jail if you know what to do? How? You set them up. You create the situation to where they have no choice but to act on their impulse. And once they act on that impulse, then we call that entrapment. We call it a nudge.
A nudge.
A nudge. Sometimes you just gotta give them a quick little, just to see what happens, right?
And how does that happen?
You put a post out there, or you have someone fake profile say something that triggers, that we know is going to trigger them, right? Like, we already know your history. If we're to that point, we already know everything about it.
Scum.
Like, oh, this will piss them off. Sometimes you light the fuse and just wait for it to follow. And that's only putting on a fake social media thing to like really get people mad. Mm-hmm. Post fake news. Sometimes it's not fake. It's embellished a little bit.
As we get introduced to more and more extraterrestrials, we will be introduced to ones that at first are more like us, so we don't freak out. And then
I'm freaked out already.
And then over time, more the ones that are not like us at all, because there are many more extraterrestrials that have no relationship to what we look like.
Okay, I'm going to ask another stupid and cynical question.
Okay.
What happens if this doesn't happen? Meaning, will you get further information about why it didn't happen? And
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. But it will happen. It's inevitable at this point.
Like soon.
2027.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Also,
pretty specific.
Well, 2026 is the year of disclosure, and that's why we're seeing more information in the congressional hearings come out.
I just thought it was the year that I was finally going to get fit.
And then it will culminate in the idea of an actual official public presentation.
given that human beings are not so great with welcoming the other, even the other amongst the same species.
Well, that's why it will take decades for this to be absorbed into our society.
Are we concerned that there are going to be armed resistance to welcoming aliens?
But the aliens have an advanced technology where that's not a worry to them.
They can't get shot,
They
for
can't
example.
get shot. If they do,
Do they
it
get
would be-
annoyed with that? Is that like a mosquito biting them? They're like,
not
what are
really.
these guys doing?
I mean, again, look at it this way. Like I said, the adults are stepping into the room. You can recognize when a child is throwing a tantrum, but you understand it's a child and it doesn't really understand what's going on. So you're not getting annoyed so much as you're going, I'll let you calm down for a minute and then we'll have a conversation.
Is this going to be like a dun da da da? Here we are.
She wants to be a part of the inaugural committee.
This is in phases. It's in phases.
Okay.
I think at first, in disclosure,
Yes.
we're going to have more and more absolute proof that
I
their
see.
ships are real.
I don't know about you guys, but to me, this sounds like agenda pushing. And I'm pretty sure whatever her name there is, Blossom, is Tiny Hat.
Okay.
In other words, on the news.
Got it.
I'm going to be a little facetious right now. Maybe this is literal and maybe it's not.
But just like you have a nightly weather report,
yeah,
here's the nightly UFO report. This is what was seen over Brazil today. Here's a photograph. This is what was seen over Washington, D.C. today. Here's a photograph. So the ships at first will be documented more
I've
clearly.
Seen Arrival, so yeah.
Yeah, will be documented more clearly. Then it will lead to, okay, we're going to have either something like a State of the Union address or an official press release or a press conference.
Is Trump still going to be president?
No.
Guys, I don't have much time, so I just wanted to show you a clip of what I saw.
Yeah, them things are huge.
People.
Looks very similar to the videos I saw back when that happened.
Individual named Fitz. My testimony will touch on this matter, and I've been asked to approach with extreme caution. The incident at the Bayside Marketplace in Miami on January 1st is currently classified, and I've been instructed to refrain from divulging certain details due to the ongoing nature of the investigation. However, in the interest of transparency, I will provide what little information I am authorized to share.
So for kids with fireworks and pew-pews in a mall is classified information? And a police presence that large? Sure.
A New York resident we will be referring to as Fitz was indeed present at the Bayside Marketplace on the night of the incident. The DOD has confirmed that Fitz may have witnessed something classified. Reports indicate that this individual captured footage of the event in question, footage that, as of now, remains classified and has not been retrieved by the federal government. This footage, if revealed, could have profound implications, not only for national security, but for how we understand these events. The American people are not aware, but due to government protocols, we have never had a situation where a civilian has had footage of this kind.
Majority of people, when they go to block out facial recognition these days, are going to go for some type of kit that looks like this. They're going to put on a hat, they're going to put on an old pair of sunglasses like this, and then if they get really feisty, they might even toss on a mask. This looks a little vigilante for a lot of people, so most people don't do all of this. They just wear the hat, and they just wear the sunglasses, and they go out into public, or they go out to the protests, and they think, I'm covered, nobody knows who I am. But when this security camera flips into infrared light, you're going to see how the majority of the touch points here on my eyes and my nose are still very exposed, meaning that facial recognition can still figure out who I am very easily. Okay, you can see the camera just flipped, and this is what the majority of security cameras are watching you on. We know facial recognition systems are backed up to the modern security camera environment, so we have to beat that in order to block out who we are from facial recognition. You can see my eyes very clearly. I'm wearing the same pair of sunglasses. They're mirrored, they're dark, they're colorful, and yet this camera penetrates them like they're nothing. So what most people want to do is, instead of wearing weird old sunglasses like this that just aren't going to help them, they want to toss on a pair of Vader sunglasses here that have special engineering in the lenses that is going to give them that comfort and peace of mind in all lighting conditions. Not only do these sunglasses block out facial recognition and the wavelengths of security cameras, but they also block UV and they block blue light, making them the best sunglasses for everyday wear. Why would you spend, $60, $70 on a pair of sunglasses like these that just don't help you with the overall mission you're trying to accomplish, and you could spend $89 and get these that cover a broader range of spectrum for both privacy and everyday wear.
I'd rock them. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for today. Be sure to head over to the backup channel, Wizards Fish Bowl, and I'll see you over there. Peace.